And welcome, everyone. This is class number 12. We are in our last class. Oh my God, it's been 3 months. Can you believe it? 3 months of a course. And I think some people, sometimes it starts on a high and then it kind of goes and then it goes high and then all of a sudden, oh my God, here we are. So what I thought I would do tonight is I always do the check-in, but also do some review of everything that we learned and go a little deeper into some of the things that we learned and a few more things that will be very important for you as you continue your journey. So first, as normal, I just want to check in. The last piece that we learned was stepping into your ideal self. And we did a beautiful visualization on the qualities of who you are as in your ideal self. And anybody want to share either that, what your experience was to live in your ideal self, or anything else that you want to share as far as what's happening, successes, anything that you want to share? Or even an overall, what's this 3 months been like for you?
So I can share.
Thanks, Sherry.
Hi, everybody. Wishing everybody a happy and healthy Jewish New Year.
Same to you. Today is our new year for those of you who are Jewish, yes.
Yeah. And so I've had actually some okay results. I didn't, I was visualizing what I wanted next. And I did have previous clients come back that I hadn't seen in a while. So it was like generating some new work for me. And so I've had some good outcomes, actually, of not what I plugged in that I wanted, but things that came through anyway. So I thought that was my goal for this class, was to have new clients, and I did get new work.
Well, that's the thing about, manifesting in abundance, that it comes in expected and unexpected ways. It doesn't always come exactly in the way we want, but we're looking at the outcome. That's the most important thing.
Right. So yeah. I wanted to share that. And I do feel it's been very beneficial for me, doing the work on a weekly basis. And I've learned a lot about how to use the tapping. I think I could probably still use some more guidance around being effective with tapping, because trying to analyze my own issues emotionally around things that are going on for me aren't always the easiest for me. It's much easier for me to program myself or to message myself for solutions to my state, rather than acknowledging the state and really being able to fully delve into it. So that's been a little, I'd say, challenging for me. But all the tools that I've learned, I feel like I've incorporated at least 60 or 70% of them on a regular basis. So it's been really great. Well, that's a lot, because you give a lot of tools.
Yes. And to say 60 to 70% really is excellent. As far as EFT, it's not, obviously as a therapist, when people work with me, I can go deeper with them. But you can still get a lot of work on your own you don't have to go analytic. All you want to do is use the magic question, because you'll go deeper automatically. And the magic question is, after you do a round of what you're feeling, you always ask yourself, what's coming up next? When you ask that question, what comes up is another feeling or thought. That's analytical, and it is getting to core stuff, even on your own. So remember that, and you can do that as well. Anyone else want to share?
I'll share. I think this class has been great. It's been extremely beneficial for me to work with the tools, so many of the tools that you gave us. And I really feel like I've begun to unwind or release some of the layers of my own resistance, because I think my biggest problem is me, getting in my own way through my own fears and my own criticism, the committee in my head and all of that. And it's really, really been very, very helpful. And I feel a little bit more sense of peace on a deeper level. It's kind of hard, but I guess here's what it would be. Abraham talks about relief. Yes. That's kind of part of how I feel. I feel relief.
Good.
And that is really a big thing for me. And I think that, the tools are really wonderful. And I certainly have benefited, and I'm very appreciative to you and to all of my partners in this. Of the input that they've all given and shared their own selves really has been helpful. So thank you. I can't hear you very well.
Oh, can you all hear me?
Now I can.
Maybe I just need to get closer to that. I might have. Is this better?
No.
Yes.
No, he's saying no. Let's see.
You're also very yellow.
I know, that's this lighting that I have. Trying to check on my volume here.
That's better.
That was bad. Whoops, I just hit something. No. How's that?
That's better.
Better?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think one of the aspects that has been very valuable for me has been the breaking up into a separate group. The Moon Group meetings that we've had on Sunday, I think really brought us closer together because it was more free form.
Yeah.
And we were able to discuss what's going on and help each other through immediate challenges that were in the moment, that we could use the process that you put in place for us with the 2-minute and 8-minute meditation after we defined the outcome that was desired. And that really, for me, was a real important component of the last 12 weeks.
Great. So one thing I was going to ask you all in the Moon Group, are you going to continue? Because you should.
Yes.
Talked about it, yes?
Yes, we've talked about it, and yes, we are.
Oh, that's excellent. Well, Lynn's staggers is for a year. That's what I'm in. And I would strongly suggest that because it's such a, like Richard said, it's a great support and it's continued healing intentions for what you want with everybody coming together for you. It can't get better than that. And any of you who haven't been in the Moon Group and want to go back in, you can do that. It's not too late. Just join the group.
Yeah, and we're going to meet next Sunday after this meeting, and we're going. Part of our agenda is to decide on the frequency going forward.
Oh, that you may not do it every week.
We won't do it every week.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. All right. Anybody else want to share? That's it for tonight? Okay. And we'll move on. All right. So what I thought I'd do is kind of go over an overall review of what you've learned in this course. There has been a lot. And I'm doing that also because everything you have obviously is recorded. You have it in your website portal. So you can go through this and start again, because I promise you, when you go through it again, you're going to pick up things you forgot, or you're going to refine some things, or just add some things you're like, oh, I don't remember that. And it will add another dimension to the work. And you have it all at your fingertips. So that'll be another wonderful thing that you can do with the course. A lot of people don't do that, but we're going to talk about commitment in a little bit. And, you know, manifestation comes in pieces. And obviously I offered the course to continue, but we didn't have enough people show that they wanted to do that, because I would have done that. But at any time you say to, if you start writing to me and say, you know, I would like to start it again, because we already have 3 people who were yeses, then we could start it up again. Some of you might say, well, it's too soon. I don't want to do that now. But what I know to be the most powerful in my life is accountability and staying the course with something. And anytime I've been in group coaching or masterminds, that's what's taken me to the next level of whatever it is I wanted. It's very hard to do it alone. So if you still want that, you can let me know. So let's review some of the core principles that we learned. I'm going to pull up this one handout. It's from, you already have this, it's from Module 2. Whoops, hit the wrong thing. I have to hit share. This is in your Module 2. I'm not hitting the right, oh, there we go. All right, some core principles that we've learned is in abundance, that whatever is missing, you are not giving. And sometimes, again, we go, ugh, but it's such a truth, it's powerful. So not to look at it as a negative, but as a positive, like, okay, if something's missing in my life, what am I not giving? Either energetically, in thought, or in action. So it's not meant as bad you, it's meant as, let me take responsibility of what I'm not giving here and see how I can shift that and look at how I can fill those missing pieces in my life. And of course, we did a lot of work on the that you can only give what you have, you can only keep what you give, and you can only sustain what you receive. And we did a lot of work on radiating and circulating within you, because everything from within attracts without. It's the major law of attraction, which follows that everything you desire is already here, and it's just outside your comfort zone. So when you're willing to take risks, when you're willing to open up your mind to what is, you begin to see that whatever you want is already here, and that's so exciting. Our next core principle is you are one with Source, one with all life. And how you do anything is how you do everything. This principle really relates to the principle of responsibility. That I just had a client I was working with, and she came to me because she said she wants me to help her be accountable to start her business. That was session 1. Session 2, she says to me, oh, and she says, my big problem is I can't stay consistent. Session 2, she says, no, I don't really want to work on that. I want to work on not feeling enough. I said, okay. Session 3 comes and she shifts again. And that's when I stopped and I said, what are you doing here? The very thing you said that you have a problem with is I don't finish things. And you're doing this even in therapy. So how you do anything is how you do everything. It even showed up in the therapy, and she didn't know it. It was like enlightening to her. She did it so automatically, that behavior, she didn't even realize it was there. So we want to look at, okay, how do I do things? Am I a committed person or not committed? Do I take responsibility or do I blame? How I do anything is how I do everything. And what we also covered in our course is the first part we covered was intentional healing. And that was the purpose of creating your intentional groups, that there is a healing power in the support of community. And it's very powerful that when minds and spirits and souls come together, they have a lot of research, as I gave you in the beginning, to show that a lot of healing can take place to release the blocks to what it is that we want. We did work on identifying our blocks to success, and we learned EFT, which is one of my most primary techniques that I teach to release the blocks to getting what you want. I also showed you the art of reframing, using those power questions. How can I see it differently? What's another way to look at this? To shift your perceptions. I think that's as important skill as the EFT. And when you combine the two, you can become a very powerful manifester, because you're always shifting your perceptions. And of course, we learned the 7 gifts. So now let's do a little quiz. Let me bring up the 7 gifts. See what everybody remembers. 7 gifts. Here we go. All right. Who wants to shout out? What is giving out? That's the first gift. Giving out or giving forth? What is that? What is that, the gift that we circulate? It's right there. All you have to do is read it.
I think of it as a kind of generosity, giving out or giving forth.
Can't hear you.
Can you get a little closer to your mic, Sherry?
I think of it as a generosity of just giving what we each have, that we do have an abundance of,
Mm-hmm.
that we have to share. And it just sort of happens almost unconsciously. It's just, that's who I am, and this is what I share with friends, with anybody, with clients, with whomever. It's a perspective, it's an emotional, heartfelt giving.
Yes, and it can also still be not just perspective or heart, but also giving of your money, like tithing, or giving of your time. It can be many things. So it's giving. That's one way we radiate and circulate. And what is the gift of giving away? Who wants to read that one?
I can.
Okay.
So giving away, it's about letting go of things we don't need, and I've been doing a whole lot of that. It's a good way to move energy. I think if we hang on to a bunch of old stuff, it blocks us from, it blocks us from new coming in. So doing that and is decluttering. One of the ways to do that.
It's the physical declutter can affect us emotionally in a big way. Exactly. And who wants to read giving up? Or say it in your own way. The giving up gift. Nobody wants to read that one?
Well, am I
You're muted, Richard, if you're going to read that.
unmute? There we go. I think for me, the idea is to be less judgmental, give up on my judgment, my criticism, and my sticking my nose into business that isn't mine.
Mm-hmm. That's a big one.
Yeah.
So that's a big part of giving up. It's also giving up old habits. If we have habits of watching TV 3 hours a day, where we really could be meditating or reading something that's going to enhance us and grow our spirits, old habits that no longer move us towards what we want to manifest. And giving up resentments is a big one too. And then we have giving in. Who wants to read that one?
I can do that one because I think that's been a big part of what I've learned through this process is surrendering and giving up control, that I don't have control over everything. And the only thing I can control is my mindset. And I think I still need to work on practice that reframing, going through difficult things that you just have to figure out the best way to just let go and be at peace with where you are, whether it's what you want or not. So, and try to be grateful or look for the positive in it.
And then the last part is then moving into a new way of feeling and being. That's why we did the ideal self. And we're going to do another beautiful one tonight. So we release that part of us, we release that struggle so we can emerge into a new way of feeling and being. Really powerful. And then we have the gift of giving thanks. Who wants to read that? That's an easy one. Okay, I'll read it. It's the attitude of gratitude, the whole sense that the more I appreciate, things appreciate. Abundance, feeling grateful actually attracts more because you're looking for what is instead of what isn't. It tunes you into the flow of good. And then we come to giving of yourself. Who wants to read that one? Our last one. Giving to yourself. Nobody want to read that? All right, we have a quiet rest of the day. I'll read it. So giving to yourself, we have the gift of giving to others. We also need to give to ourselves because sometimes we can exhaust ourselves that we're giving so much. So we have to come back and give to ourselves in the same way we give to others. It's that whole attitude. You must first breathe in before you breathe out and fill yourself up with what it is that you need. And in that doing, you will be more empowered and actually have more energy because you have given to yourself and you'll have actually more to give to other people. Mastering this gift allows you to give more and to realize a level of true inner freedom when you allow to give to yourself. Oh, one more, sorry. Forgiving. We had done some work on forgiving and releasing resentments. And the power of that is releasing what we call the emotional debt. And when you release that emotional debt, if you have physical debt, it actually starts to disappear. You're opening to compassion, releasing resentments means you're expanding your energy. And when you expand your energy, manifestation more easily flows. So those gifts have been a powerful piece of our work because the more I focus on those gifts, I'm radiating and circulating those within me because they are all within me. And from within, I attract without. So the more I focus on those 7 gifts, I become this radiant manifesting being. That's the intent of those gifts to circulate. And then we talked about using that process of 25 ways to manifest. I love that process, that if you're stuck and, God, I got to think of a new way to get clients or open up my business or whatever that is, just opening up to what are 25 ways I can manifest this and writing really fast without analyzing, more ideas come and you get more inspired ideas to attract what it is that you want. I can't tell you how many times I've used that and things came up that I didn't think of until I did that exercise. So as we move into our last session tonight, I wanted to look at some important qualities that you need to cultivate to continue your success in manifestation. So does everybody have their handout that I sent, hopefully?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, good. I'll bring it up in case somebody doesn't have it. Actually, I have 2 of them. One you have and one I have. Oh, no. Let's see. Document tool. Have to find it. Can anybody tell me what the top of it is called?
Today's?
Abundance Manifestation Immersion.
That's it. Okay. I'm just looking for where mine is. Okay, well, I don't need it if you have it. Okay. All right. All right. So there are a few qualities that I thought were really important to look at. And one of them is courage. Maya Angelou, I learned a lot from her about courage. Maya Angelou says courage is the most important of all the virtues because without courage, you can't practice any other virtue consistently. When things are not going the way you want, for example, it's easy to stop the practices that you learned and the stopping to do the tapping and all the things that you learned. Because the sad part of you or the rebellious part of you may kick in, or that rebellious teenager, and say, screw this, I don't want to do it, it's not working, I'm not going there. So it actually takes courage and persistence to move through those feelings when they come up, and they will. And courage is, I know the one thing I know that's helped me when I remember when I was down and out, whether it was cancer or it was my business, it's so easy to just say, just let it go. And when you have courage, courage is saying, I don't feel like it, I don't want to, but I need to hold on to this because without my practice, without my processes, I'll never move forward. And those of you know the work of Brene Brown, she talks about vulnerability is defined as feeling uncertain and feeling emotionally exposed. And when you can do things even in uncertainty, that is true courage. And she goes on to say, can you name any act of courage that you were involved with that did not involve uncertainty? We are uncertain. Will I find love? Will I have enough money? It's uncertainty. But the courage is saying, even though I'm uncertain, I'm going to move through this. And it may take some vulnerability and courage, but I will move through this anyway. So the other part of courage is also, the second quality is persistence. It's like, okay, I have the courage, I'm going to stay in this, and I have to make the commitment to be persistent. So I have a little story to tell you about persistence. Do you all know what a bougainvillea plant is?
Yes.
Yeah. If you don't know what it is, it's a big bush. And when it grows really wild, and it has beautiful colored flowers, sometimes pink or orange. It's very beautiful, but it's very big. So I always wanted a bougainvillea in front of my house. My neighbor has one, and I grew, and it was beautiful. So I went, when I bought my house, I went and got a bougainvillea, planted it in the ground, and after 6 months, my first plant just died. So I went back to Home Depot, and I bought another bougainvillea. This time, there was some kind of bug, and it just got the plant, and it ate it up, and after a while, all the flowers stopped blooming, and it looked awful. Got rid of it, and I was determined. I wanted so bad to have that bougainvillea. It was just, there was something there. And I went back a third time, and the man in the store said, you know, there's this other plant over here with flowers. It might be a little easier to grow, but it didn't have the beautiful colors. And I was going back and forth, and I looked, and I went, no, I want that bougainvillea. So I bought a third one, and I don't know what happened that time. It lasted a little longer, and it died. And I was so, so disappointed. So one day, I decided to go to my neighbor's house. I'm like, how come she can grow it and I can't? And I look, and I see that she's planted it in a giant pot. Now, I have been planting it in the ground. So I decided I'm going to do exactly what she does, maybe something about the pot. Bought a giant pot. Fourth time, I bought another bougainvillea. I planted it. And to this day, it's now 6 years. It's still alive. Now, the reason I bring up that story is as it grew and it lived, every day I would look at it. It wasn't just the plant. It ended up symbolizing to me something else. It symbolized that no matter what, I'm never going to give up, whatever it is. It's not just the plant. I'm not going to give up on love. I'm not going to give up on a successful business or my health. I will never give up. And that is what true persistence is. And my bougainvillea became the symbol of that. And so that is the second quality that I want to emphasize for you, that times will go, there'll be ebb and flows, and that you want to hold on to. How will I be persistent and use my courage to stay on course? So when you finish this course, you've got 12 modules, and you'll say, you know, I'm going to do this on my own. Or maybe I'll get a partner in the group who will keep each other accountable, and we'll go through one every 2 weeks or whatever we want to do so that I can really continue this work, as an example. Or it might be you've designed your practice from this course, and you want to stay with the practice. And that's persistence, because persistence creates results, period. Persistence creates results. And the third quality that I want to talk about in the last one today is faith. Faith in the divine and faith in yourself. And faith, what faith really means is it's about taking actions that you cannot see, that you can't see the results. It's like, I'm going to take actions even though I don't know what the results are going to be. That's faith. I'm going to do it anyway. And faith is about acting on those higher truths. You know, everything you desire is already here. Those kind of truths. Life is unlimited. There are unlimited possibilities. It's having the faith, even though I can't see it in the moment, and acting on it anyway. So faith is really a muscle that needs to be trained. You know, you just don't say, I'm going to have faith today. You have to train it. So we're going to, you know, that I think I did this exercise with you, this meditation where we just breathe in trust, breathe out love. Can you nod your head if we did that in this course?
Yes.
Sometimes we do it in meetup, and I confuse the two. So let's see, Joyce, you're not in meetup. Do you remember the exercise? Yeah? Okay, good.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to put my timer on for the next 3 minutes. I'm going to mute everybody, and we're going to do a meditation where we breathe in trust. Mute you all first. We're going to breathe in trust and breathe out love. And remember, as I always say, I breathe in love and I breathe out trust. Love, trust. And the most powerful way to do this is to feel it. So for me, I'm not saying you have to do it my way, but for me, when I breathe in love, I see rays of love from God, and I'm feeling the love. And when I breathe out the word trust, I surrender to the universe, and I feel that surrender. All right, so let's begin. Breathe in love, breathe out trust, and feel it. Okay, let's come back. So I don't know about you, but to me, that is such a beautiful meditation for faith. You know, when you're not feeling it, you come back to love and trust. It just heightens my whole being. So I'm going to do a little activation for you now to kind of go along with this. So if you want to just close your eyes and listen to this. There is only one presence that is everywhere in its wholeness, right where you are. All the power, all the love, all the wisdom that is ready to emerge and activating your potential. To be willing, waiting for this moment to say yes to your yes like never before. To be willing and ready to say, I can, I am, and I feel the intention for my work so that you can wake up to the true wealth and love consciousness and live from that place of greater power than ever before. You are the individualized expression of all abundance, all the power, all the peace, all the beauty, all the wisdom, and the genius, the infinite supply you are. And you get to decide, do you respond with love or fear, abundance or lack? To believe in higher truths of the law of abundance or believe in the lies. And there will be things that will tempt us every day to move away from higher thinking. Like I'm not enough, there's not enough, I'm not capable, I don't deserve. Instead, you want to act from that place of who you want to be, where you truly want to be, and surround yourself with people and places and things that represent your future, not your past. And live as if you are supported and abundant, and to design your vision from that place. So, whoops, I lost the picture here. So, obviously, there are things that we want that we may not have manifested yet. And if you're struggling with money, struggling with clients, struggling with love, whatever it is, let me use the money one. Let's say you're struggling with money, and money has been hard to come by. And that's what you've learned in your past. And then one day you pick up a book, and the book is Think and Grow Rich. It tells you what to do. Or you pick up a great book on sales training. But you notice that you don't follow what the book says. And the reason you don't follow what the book says, or even a course like this, is because your identity is still in the scarcity mentality. So we always want to be clear, why am I not following through on something? If you're not, it's very likely you're still having some pieces left of that scarcity mentality, whether it's for money, for love, or whatever it is. So what we want to do is look at that handout I gave you on the formula. So let's see where the formula is. Formula I'm going to talk about, oh, there it is the be, do, have formula, which we've really discussed in the course, but we're just going to look at it in a little deeper way. And the be, do, have formula means that if I want to change the way things are going for me in life, I have to look at who I am being, look at what I'm doing, and when I'm being and doing in my ideal self, I will have what I want. That's what the ideal self whole work is about. So if you look at that, this is not the handout you have, but basically what this is saying is who I am being will affect my doing, that will affect my outcome. So your being is your identity. I have scarcity identity or abundance identity. I have love or fear identity. Who I am being determines what we do and how we do it. It affects what we have, and most people never start from that place. They say, oh, something's not going right, I better do more. No, it's not about doing more. It's about being first, and from the being we do, because then you'll have more inspired action. So literally, our life is a reflection of us. It is a reflection of a being that I am. So if you look at your handout, what I want you to do is fill out the formula where it says, who would I be, what would I do, and how would I feel if I already had, and fill in your intention for the course. If I already had the love that I want, the business that I want, just fill in your intention there. Who would I be, what would I do, and how would I feel if I already had blank? So now we're going to look at what are the being characteristics that you want to look at. So the beingness is the identity that we want to step into. So remember last week when we stepped into the ideal self, that's your being. So if you've already identified some qualities of your higher being, so what I want you to do is write on that sheet, what being qualities do I need to be to manifest that? And you're just expanding what you already learned from last week. And I also gave you some other ideas that you want to look at. Would I be more of a leader, a visionary, more committed to outcome, more responsible? Committed and responsible are very important pieces of an identity. So just put in more of the qualities that I would need to be to manifest whatever it is that you want. Just write those in. And then when you're finished with that, go to the next part, which is the doing qualities. The doing is, if I were in my higher state of being, what would I be doing specifically to manifest what I want? And I gave you some examples. I'd be more organized, more focused. These are doing actions. Prioritizing. What kind of things would I be doing if I wanted to be in that state of manifesting? Follow through. That's another great one. I'd be more of a follow through person. So anybody want to share what they have? You could just say, here would be my being qualities and my doing qualities that would help me manifest what I want. Anybody want to share?
Sure, I'll do it.
Okay.
My being qualities are loving, caring, committed to outcome, responsible for getting things done, being a leader, and being an uplifter.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And you're doing?
Focused, marketing, talking to people, follow up and follow through, and being supportive.
Yes. And so that becomes, you can add that into the visualization of your ideal self if those qualities weren't already there. So we know that whatever I visualize and act on now, even though I don't have it, it's like I'm understanding that what I want, I already have within me. And the more I visualize and step into that beingness that I want to be, the more powerful I am to manifest that. One more, somebody else want to share theirs?
I can share. I was just having some problems coming up with the doing. The being just came right out, but little confused, so maybe you guys can help me think of something I need to do.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be more trusting, have more faith, be more open, giving, loving, and forgiving. And doing, I liked some of the, I just started with prioritizing, like the examples you said, because, and follow through. I think I have the good intentions, but following through with something and being committed, maybe.
Committed is more of a being quality.
Okay, so I'm kind of getting confused between the being and the doing, like what they...
Doing is more specific tasks. So I am a committed being to finding love. I am committed to loving myself and finding love. The doing would be, let's say you're actually looking for love. A doing would be getting on online dating and doing it 3 times a week.
Okay.
Going to 3 new meetups and meeting new people. Another doing would be going up to 1 man a week and saying hello. So it's a specific action.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
So, you're welcome. So the formula, the be, do, have, is really putting you in a place of how can I live from a higher place? And the more we live from a higher place, that is what Abundance Immersion program is all about. I want to live in my higher place where my thoughts are more empowered, where I'm connected to my source, where I'm living in activation and radiating every day. Oh my God, imagine living like that every day. How can you not manifest, right? So we're going to do a beautiful activation now to become more of a channel to manifesting. And I'm going to record this for you. Hopefully it's working. Oh, good, it is. Okay. I'm going to mute everyone. And we'll do this beautiful meditation. Mute all. Okay. Okay, we're ready to record this activation to activate the divine within so that you can become the vessel or the channel for manifestation. So get comfortable and close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Ground yourself and center yourself where you are. We're about to activate yourself to become a channel or a vessel so that the divine can work through you. Where we get out of our way and allow Source Divine to work with us and through us to create the miracles. And when you're ready, right now, I want to invite you to travel to a sacred place that you love. Maybe it's in nature, the ocean, wherever you love, where you really feel connected to life force energy. Find that place now and just be there for a moment. Feel the air in this place. Just be there and soak in the colors. And then just notice what you're drawn to in this place. And imagine now that you, up ahead in this place, you see a beautiful temple, a temple space. And you walk over to this temple and you see the doors of this place and you open them. And as you open them, you're feeling like you're coming home. And you step into this temple. And as you step in, you feel more alive inside of this place. So take a few breaths and look around at this beautiful place that feels like home. Look at the beautiful things in this place. And feel the great energy in this space. And you know that it's with you that you co-create with in this place. Find a comfy space And notice now, as you're in this space, notice a gold light streaming, which is part of the same energy that you're in. And feel this gold energy coming to the top of your head. And as it comes in, notice that it clears anything in the way of you having a great connection with creative energy. It's just clearing it. And just noticing it clearing, gold light moving down your arms, and feeling energized by it, removing anything that's in the way of you becoming a vessel to receive energy and to be able to create. Seeing the gold moving down your chest, gently to your hips, noticing the gold energy, asking you, is there any negative beliefs or judgments of yourself or others that you're keeping that keeps you from your emptying your channel? And if so, let those beliefs go. Let it go. And if you made any agreements to not trust your wisdom, let that go with the gold light. Anything you're holding on to that keeps you from information, from being in this present moment, deleting that now. Notice if you're buying into an illusion that is not, where it says it's not safe to trust your guidance, delete that now. And anywhere it's not safe to trust source, delete and uncreate that now. Anything else in the way that you give the golden light that is now streaming down your legs and into the ground. And you notice how much lighter you feel as you're just letting go of all of this. And anywhere where you feel constricted, delete all that now. And notice what you let go of, easily flowing out. And what is left is a high vibration channel within you. A space that is clear and free and that is saturated with divine light, love, and energy that moves through you. And you notice how this divine light moves through you and how it magnetizes more creative guidance and energy in you. And just enjoy that. Taking a few deep breaths, feeling the presence much stronger now. Noticing that strong connection to this light. And when you're ready, in your image, I want you to image yourself getting up from where you're sitting in your beautiful place. And stand up in your image and walk out of the temple space to an outside space. So you're outside of the temple and you notice outside there are a few versions of you out there. And one of those versions lives in partnership with the divine. It lives in complete surrender and trust. It lives as a channel for divine wisdom. And notice that that version of you is now walking towards you. And she's different, or he's different. She is a version of you that you already are. And check as you see this version coming towards you, check this version and see how the energy is different. Feel his or her energy. Really feel that energy in front of you, and now imagine the two of you blending together. This part of you that already exists, that is free of obstacles, free of resistance, and free of anything standing in between this version and the divine. And you imagine you're blending together in real time. And you notice what is different and what is the same. And take this opportunity to feel in your body and what it feels like to take on this energetic vibrational imprint. Allow it to anchor in. Really feel it. And in this place of being deeply connected to the part of you that already has divine connection and it lives in a state of surrender, this is the clear channel. Just notice what beliefs this version of you has that already exist. What beliefs does she hold about herself or himself? What beliefs does she or he have about the divine? And notice and feel the dominant vibration and notice the dominant thoughts this version inside of you has. What are the thoughts or awarenesses she or he has now? How does this version receive information? How does the wisdom show up in the body, in the feeling, in the voice, in the mind? How does the wisdom show up? And then notice how this version of you takes care of themselves. How do they do that? And what really empowers her or him to stay in this state all the time? What are her boundaries? Receive the knowing what is in her space on a regular basis and in what is not in his space. How does she move through resistance? And just notice the wisdom she or he has already for you right now. What does she want you to receive to help you stay in this space the majority of time? Really important question. What does she or he want you to receive to help you stay in this space the majority of time? Take one more minute to receive this information. Allowing yourself to feel what it feels like to be free of resistance and to receive and use the energy that is around you all the time. Then allow yourself to connect through a line of energy of light and love from your heart center to hers or his, knowing that a connection is now made. Knowing that all you have to do is energize that connection, and you will know very quickly how to assume the state of this divinely connected being who is the channel, and allow this version of you just to fade, knowing that she or he is still there. And take another look around you and feel that sacred space that you're in. And take a deep breath, arriving back to where you're sitting, feeling in your chair, feeling in the energy you've taken in, the energy in the channel. Feel the deep connection with source of love and supply and abundance that you've connected with. And when you're ready, open your eyes and ground yourself right here and write down some awarenesses that you had with this exercise now. What came up for you? Any awarenesses, ahas, insights, feelings? Anybody want to share some of their awarenesses, insights that came from the exercise?
I'll share.
Great. Linda.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah, I unmuted everyone.
Oh, okay. Well, for me, it just came really clear to open up to receive. You know, I'm a little closed thing sometimes, and it just felt really real, like open up to receive. I just wrote, first I wrote, I need to open up because I saw that I have to open up. And I guess that's going to be my willingness. And then just open to possibilities. It felt very positive, but I have to open.
Yes.
That's
Open
what I
is
got. Pretty
beautiful.
strong.
That's a great awareness. Be open and expand. You know, that is a big piece of the law of attraction. Expand the consciousness. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else want to share?
I'll share. I found it really powerful. Meeting your divine self. I felt very teary.
Yeah.
And it was hard to, in a way, it was hard to imagine the being as myself. I've been I'm sure we all have been in the presence of some very enlightened people, and what that feels like, and to feel the love that is emanated from those people. And that's what I felt about myself. And I almost want to cry right now.
Oh.
I felt this feeling of love and lack of judgment. And as you said, I forget what you said, but becoming one, my divine self hugged me, and I felt the merging of that. And when you said something about resistance, there was no resistance. It was pretty powerful.
Wow. Yes. That beautiful connection with love. Yes.
Yeah.
Pure love. Excellent.
Pure
Beautiful.
love. Yeah.
Well, I recorded it for you guys, so you'll have that as a separate recording too.
Great.
Anyone else want to share?
I can share.
Okay.
I also found it very powerful. I really saw this version of myself as just being very patient and open and loving and calm and collected. And I think when I get into situations that I don't know what to do, or I get overwhelmed or stressed, I kind of get a little frantic and I don't really know where to begin. And so to be around that calming presence that just, it's okay. It's, you know, just to stay calm, I think gave me that peace. It felt relaxing, and I just felt kind of that wave of relaxation, like it's all going to be okay. Look at this person who has this connection, and this love is always there. You just have to tune into it. And it was very comforting.
Yes. And you know, and to remember that frantic is just another form of fear. It's a milder form of fear. And that anytime we're connecting with love, loving presence, loving connection, divine source, we melt the fear. And all that's left is peace. Peace, beautiful peace and love. Yeah.
Yep. I needed this. So thank you so much.
Great.
Perfect timing to go through this exercise.
Beautiful. Great. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'll share. I felt a great sense of being connected to source, just powerful source energy coming from the earth and coming through this being who seemed very familiar to me, but in an enlightened state. And I felt an exchange with this being that was very powerful and really moving. And I felt that she reminded me to stay grounded to source. And that really an important piece of reminding for me.
Yes, important reminder. It's so easy to get disconnected when we're busy doing. And that's why we want to connect with our beingness. Yes. Wonderful. One more before we go on. Anybody else? Okay. So I'm just going to open it up right now because this is your last class. Is there anything, questions, or any coaching anybody wants in any part of what you're working on? This is it. This is your time. Ask any questions, whatever you're needing.
I kind of have a question or could use some advice.
Mhm.
How you referenced Brene Brown earlier, and I've been reading some of her books, and what to do when you feel that when something serious happens and it brings you down and all you want to do is wallow in it and, give up. Like, how, are there any tricks or are there any easy ways, or is it different for everybody on how to get back into how to stay with the practice, or how to, is it just discipline only and you just have to force yourself to do it? And even if you don't feel it, just keep reciting certain things, or just being around people or back in nature, or stuck. I don't know what to do. I'm kind of dealing with stuff and I feel it kind of falling apart, and I've been really trying to stay good and positive this whole time, and then all of a sudden, something very, sad is happening, and I'm finding myself kind of getting caught up in it and retreating away from all this progress, and I feel sad and upset and fearful. I'm so lost to the fear of losing someone I love or something I love, and it's just paralyzing me from continuing with this. And I really want to, and it's been so beneficial, but I don't know what to do to stay with it when I can't bring myself to do it.
Yeah. So bad and sad things do happen. And so the first is always just not to ignore the feeling, but to honor the feeling, and this is where I deviate from Abraham. Abraham really doesn't say, delve into the negative feeling. I don't agree with that. I think we have to honor all of our feelings and, for what it is. Otherwise, we're just covering up something and it creates more resistance. Yeah. So to honor the feeling, write about it, cry about it, tap on it. Whatever works, share with a friend, all of it, all of the above.
Okay.
But then, I don't know what your sadness is, but you need to look at it and also ask, what inside of me is creating the biggest pain? Because sometimes what we react to is something inside of us. It's triggering something already within us. So, for example, I remember my ex-husband and I were at a party with people we knew, and we walk into the party, and as soon as we walk in, he whispers to me, he goes, "Do you feel the bad energy? There's bad energy here. There's people upset in here." And I'm not seeing anything he's saying, and he's getting really upset. He doesn't even want to be in the party, and he's getting really uptight. And I said to him, what are you reacting to? He goes, "Don't you see it? Don't you see it?" And I said, "No." And he goes, "Well, you're not seeing it." And he was seeing something completely different than I. So maybe there were some negative people. I don't know in reality. But what happened is he picked up on something even more powerfully, because maybe it was something inside of him. And I'm not saying that what you're focusing on isn't sad or bad. But if it takes over, that also can be a part of how you deal with things. Do you deal with things and it just encompasses you normally? Or do you deal with things and try to move through them? What is your normal way of being?
Yeah, I run from it. I don't want to deal with it. And
you don't want to deal with it.
It comes up anyway. And I try to I use my head. I try to use my head to talk myself out of it. And I've tried to do that with this and try to reframe it. And it's about my cat. She's sick and she's the most important to me. And through all of these, this whole time, she's been the one thing when you said envision that, when thing you love the most and that happy place, she's been it. And to have her kind of being more detached, like I see her slipping away and fading away. You're right, because it's bringing out, it's the fear of loneliness. It's the fear of being alone. And as soon as you said that, that's, I'm sad for her, but she's all I feel like she's all I have. And if she dies, then there's no one to come home to. There's no one to look forward. There's nothing happy to look forward to. And I think just having that kind of, I've had her for 14 years and I've developed such a close bond with her that I think it's just that fear of losing her and that fear of being alone is just overwhelming.
Yes. So there's two things going on here: real grief and loss of something that you love. Your cat is like your child. I get that totally. I'm a dog person. And so that's real. But the other piece is it's triggering something else, the aloneness, right? And so when you said before that I'm all alone, you can either dive into that as a deeper sorrow, or you can use it as a lesson. Wow, if my cat leaves and I'm all alone, what is that saying of how I'm doing my life? That there's some things that I need to look at on how I'm connecting with people in the world. Because if I'm alone, if I'm devastated because I lost one being in my life, of course you're devastated and heartbroken when it happens, but to start thinking I'm all alone in life, you see, it becomes so general. It's a gift for you to learn, this is my time to expand in my connection. And that's been your work, right? To really expand in my connection. And maybe that's the gift of your cat. That's it's a her or a he?
It's a her.
And her gift is to say, I love you, but I want you to have so much connection beyond even me. It's time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So to honor the grief and the love, but also look at the deeper meaning that we talked about. Okay. And as a gift. Yeah. Anyone else? Any questions? Any coaching? No? That's it?
I have a question. So one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot is, because I haven't been able to participate in the Sunday group, because I have another class at that time and it hasn't worked out to change it for me. So I'm sorry, Moon Group, because I think you're doing great work there and I haven't been able to connect with you. And I might be able to in the future, but I know I'm going to really miss this gathering a lot. And I was wondering whether you would ever consider doing a slightly different format rather than meeting once a week, meeting once a month or something like that. And if, that might be a format that was easier for people to continue to commit to longer term. Or what your thoughts are, Ruth, about keeping this going in some way, because I personally would love that.
You're talking about my group, not the Moon Group.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, because I did put it out to do another 3 months. I don't know. My experience is when you meet once a month, you don't have the same momentum. That doesn't work very well in group coaching. It can work twice a month. Absolutely. But not once a month.
Okay.
But we can put it out there, and I'll put it out now to everyone, that those of you who would be interested in doing group twice a month, I don't know what the pricing would be on that, but if you would be interested in that, you can just email me and let me know, and then I'll see what the response is. Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Thank you.
So we've come to the end of our course, and there's a lot you've learned to expand your wealth and your love consciousness. And it's really about staying committed to the practice. You have many things that you can To me, the practice is everything. And my practice is tapping, visualizing, and taking inspired action. If you just did those three things, you will be an ongoing manifester of what it is that you want. The visualizing is getting into that space and circulating and radiating that energy within you so that you magnetically attract what you want. The tapping and the reframing is releasing those negative gremlin thoughts, the sabotage thoughts that keep us from what we want. And from that place, you take inspired action. Because it's not enough just to meditate and visualize. We have to take good action to make happen what we want in our lives. And using the qualities that we talked about tonight, becoming a committed person. I am committed no matter what to getting the love, to getting the money, getting the clients, the health that I want, and nothing will get in my way. That's the unstoppable attitude that you want to have. And that's what I wish for you. And so we're going to conclude tonight. But if I do hear from you and there's a lot of interest for twice a month to continue, I would love to do that. And I'll just wait to hear from you, and you can message me. But I just want to tell you it was an honor to have all of you. Those of you who are not on and able to be on tonight, I'm talking to all of you. It was such an honor, such a pleasure, such a joy to do this group. And again, I did ask in Facebook, which you all haven't been too much involved in, but I would really appreciate for any of you who would be willing to write a short testimonial, 2 or 3 lines of what really you got out of the course would really be helpful. Because when I advertise it, it's very helpful for people to hear what other people got out of it. And I wrote down some things that people said today, but it would be helpful, 2 or 3 lines, nothing, it's not paragraphs, just very short but very clear how this course helped me. I'd really appreciate it if you could email that to me. But again, you were wonderful, and I'm so glad that you're going to continue the Moon Group for those of you who are staying in it. And I wish you all continued abundance, continued loving light and peace, and all good things to come.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for everything. It's been wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, Ruth.
Everybody.
Thank
Quick
you,
question.
everybody.
You want us to email that review to you?
Yes, email me. Yes, that'd be
Okay.
great. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you. Good night.
Thanks, Ruth.
Good night, everyone.
Sunday.
Bye. See you Sunday.
See you
All right.
Sunday. Some of you, yes. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.